Oh, wonderful. So your PO has pushed for a user story to be included in a sprint, but the design is not yet finalized. We're talking look and feel, not sort of product design behind the scenes. How does a Scrum Master respond? Well, yay, we welcome changing requirements even late in the day. It's a need the product owner has. Okay, is it the most important need? We can absolutely have that conversation as part of planning. Maybe that's where we are. We've got to planning. We don't think it's quite in the right place, but the product owner wants it. The only answer in this situation is yes. There you go. Nice and easy. Yeah, of course we'll do it. Do you understand the cost because we're not quite ready? Okay. You've got a designer who's looking at the look and feel. It's not quite done. I've worked with them before and there are really, really good designers. No doubt there are really good designers who get the Agile world. They're fewer, but they exist. Okay. They want to do a great job. They're consummate professionals. They have integrity. They have pride. They want the thing they design to be beautiful, fit for purpose, easy to use, easy to understand. These great things that really take time and effort. So it depends where we are in that. For me, the most important thing that team can be doing is building the most important thing for the customer. You would be amazed at how little design a customer needs if it solves a real urgent problem. Just look around your house at the temporary fixes that you made, intending to come back and make beautiful later, that a few years later are still there as a temporary fix, looking a bit ugly, but it does the job. It's not the most important thing to solve today, so it can stay there for a while longer. One day it will be, and we'll fix it then. This is what we've got to remember. Our product development teams, our Scrum teams are there to solve problems for people. Okay? Do we want them to be beautiful, easy to use and understand? Yes. But not to delay delivery of a solution to an urgent problem. So if you have it and the designers are pushing back saying it's not quite right, my advice as a Scrum Master to product owners would be go ahead with it. We can always put another item on the backlog and it can be ordered appropriately to make it beautiful, to make it better, to do whatever it is they need. But is this good enough? Right? Not perfect, just good enough. Can we take that, give it to a customer, and it will solve their problem in such a way that it doesn't have them pulling their hair out and feeling like they're in a worse place? If so, why wouldn't we take it? And a second part to that question that leaves me is, why are designers working ahead? I get this a lot with designers saying, we have to work ahead, we have to think of all of these things. No, they don't. They want to. I get it. They want to do a great job, but they're not necessarily building the product. They're designing something theoretical, something abstract. And okay, there needs to be some of that. There needs to be some consideration. We need to have that bigger picture thinking about the products we build, but not everything needs to have it. We can get things working and then improve them. Many designers and many organisations I've seen who take this, if we design a thing, then we build a thing, and we won't talk about how that's basically waterfall because they very often then test a thing. What they fall over with is they take the design and then they produce something close to the design. They don't produce the design itself because in the tools the designer is using are not the constraints of the tools the developers are using. Instead, what I would want to see is your designers coming in to your team, into your Scrum team properly, as part of that required skill set to deliver a working product, an increment that is fit for consumption by the customer. And work with them, alongside them, saying, I want it to look like this and roughly this. And together, in collaboration, in iteration, within the sprint, come up with something that is working, solving a problem, and the right level of design embedded in it. It all happens together, not one after the other. And people push back. They say, no, you can't do that. Except You can. I've seen it. I've had that. I worked with a fantastic designer a decade ago now who would start in sprint planning and he would whiteboard and he'd say, I think it's going to look something like this. And it would be a pen and a whiteboard and he'd sketch out whatever we were working on. It will be a bit like this. Very quickly, he took the lead, okay? Because he knew, brilliant UX guy, he knew what he wanted to see. And then he sat down with developers and he tweaked and he tinkered and he asked them to move things here, there and whatever. And he took that learning and that feedback throughout a sprint to come up with things that no doubt he could have designed much better, much more beautifully. Okay? But it worked, it was good enough for its purpose. And then if he could see ways to improve it further, he insisted on new items on the backlog to make those changes later on that were prioritized, that were ordered against other things that were of more or less value and more or less urgency by the product owner. So it is possible. You can, as a designer, work within a Scrum team. You can work in a collaborative, iterative fashion with them. Okay? As a Scrum Master, if you're presented with the option of delivering something the product owner wants that's not perfect or not, go with it. If the product owner is at a point where they think it's important enough to get done and they are willing to sacrifice time to learn and discover as part of the sprint, then surely that tells you the person who is there to make those decisions is willing to pay the cost of getting it done. Your role is just to say, of course, team, what do we need? What are the conversations we need to have? It's not ours to get in the way. In fact, it's ours to advise them to do so and work with the team to make it happen within the best of everybody's ability. If you've got to this point in the video, I hope you've enjoyed it. If so, a like would be appreciated. If you want to hear more from me, more answers to questions that maybe you've got in the Agile world, please subscribe to the channel. And if you've got a question that you really want answered, drop it in the comments. I promise we'll get around to it. Thank you.